The AX5 TriplePar got that name because it serves as a wired par, a wireless par, and an elegant uplight. The perfect par. It's particularly good for large event uplighting. The setup is straightforward with the removable bracket and quick release kickstand, and customization is a breeze with clip-in filters. It's adaptable to both mobile setups and fixed installations with easy control with the AsteraApp or DMX. So let's take a closer look at the AX5 TriplePar from Astera. Astera first released the AX5 in 2018 and have made several updates since, including adding a Bluetooth bridge in 2022. As far as the specs, we'll put a link to Astera's support page for more detail, but some of the highlights are the light's output and the CRI. The colors really are beautiful. You get some really vibrant colors from the 45-watt RGBAmberWhite LEDs, and again, the output is quite impressive. Using it as a standalone unit, you have full control of everything, starting with the large display. In these menus, you can quickly adjust color and brightness, as well as the runtime. It has ports for power and DMX in and out, and has these covers, which we'll talk about in a moment. The AX5 has a multi-use bracket yoke, which transitions between a 3/8 16 thread and a 1/2-inch hole, offering flexibility for stands and clamps. And you can also get the AX5 bolt for things like super clamps. It also has this fold-out stand, and the bracket can be slid out for a tidy appearance when positioning lights on the ground. And there's a retractable kickstand here for placing it on the ground and angling the light up. It takes about 5 hours for a full charge, and this can be done with the True One PowerCon cable, which is not included by Astera with the light, but we do sell it separately. You'll also see these two contacts on the ring, and this is so that you can charge them on a charging plate, which fits in a rolling case that holds 8 lights. Just a tip, if you're charging the lights like this in the case, it's a good idea to keep the lid open. That lets the heat escape, and it keeps the battery safe and at a normal temperature during charging. Now, the runtime can be set in the app or inside the light. Now, the runtime is based on a 100% charge, so you would have to adjust that if the battery was, say, at 50%, for example. If you want it to run for 10 hours, then you'd need to set the runtime in the app to 20 hours to make them run for 10 hours. You'll have to do a little bit of math, but remember, the runtime is based on a full 100% charge. Also, as you adjust the runtime, the light will adjust. It will dim down. Hence why max runtime or max brightness will result in about 5 hours of battery. So just some things to plan out before a gig. The AX5 is rated IP65, so you can use them in the rain, but it's not submergible. And that's why I want to point out these breathers. When the light heats up, the air inside expands, increasing the pressure. When the light cools down, like in the rain or in colder weather, the air inside contracts, creating a partial vacuum. This pressure difference could potentially draw moisture in, or water vapor from the outside, which is why a breather or a vent is installed. So these are installed to level out the pressure so it doesn't suck in water. That's why you would never want to submerge it, because it will suck in water no matter what. Here's another tip. Keep in mind that in some circumstances, condensation will appear in the display. This is not water damage. Once the light turns off, the condensation will dissipate. Now, I mentioned these rubber caps on the input and output. As long as these are closed, it's IP65. But if you're going to hardwire this for power or data, you're going to have to get IP65 cables. This also applies to DMX input and output. You'll want to get IP65 cables. Now let's talk about controlling it. Depending on which quick setup you're trying to achieve, the black remote will have some standard static colors and you have some effects at the top. And the white remote is for color temperature and brightness. This remote will also put your lights in blue mode, which will let you pair your lights to the AsteraApp using the AX5 transmitter. This is the recommended setup, especially for larger projects, because you can carry it with you around and it has a very long runtime. So if you take a closer look at this diagram, you will see the AX5 is divided inside so that you can get CRMX and use a console, or use a Bluetooth bridge and control them with the app. Now I mentioned that the newer AX5 have a built-in Bluetooth bridge. This means that you can use one light as the bridge and control the others instead of the AX7. But you'll have to determine if the environment you're working in is free of interference. This is also helpful on large jobs with multiple sets of lights. You can have one light be a Bluetooth bridge in one area and a second light be a Bluetooth bridge in another area, and then move between them and the app will connect. You can actually have up to 10 Bluetooth bridge, but that's something that is covered in our beginner series, which is also linked at the bottom. So now that I have a few lights connected, let's see some of the features in the app. Start by selecting the input. You can select CRMX, standalone, or by default it will be set to app control. Like in the lights menu, you can set the runtime. Then you can have DMX settings, profiles, dimmer curves, and much more. In addition to the pre-programmed effects, you can create your own layered effects, sets of lights, and save scenes that you use often. And here you can adjust the brightness. This will give you that consistent illumination throughout your event that you want, and you'll get a flicker-free performance compatible with standard cameras. As a spotlight, the AX5 has a 13-degree beam angle, and it comes with a 32-degree flood filter and a wall wash filter to start enhancing your lighting right away. And there are many other accessories that you can add. The diffuser domes come in two sizes and transform the AX5's light output into a soft, illuminated sphere. They are ideal for creating ambient lighting. This snoot clips onto the AX5, transforming its beam into a more focused and defined light source. There's also this rotatable filter, which transforms the light into an elliptical beam, as well as a volcano cover or reflectors to help the light blend in with the space. In addition to Astera accessories, a lot of professionals are using the dual magnet bracket from Andruki. It attaches to the yoke and it will make a strong magnetic connection so that you can hang the AX5 upside down or vertical or in different positions. So I think that covers the basics when it comes to the AX5 from Astera. We do have other shorter videos that highlight specific tips like creating scenes or using the accessories. So be sure and subscribe so that you can see all of our products in action. Thank you for watching, and thank you to all our loyal customers at Wireless Film Lights.